Check, check. Do you hear me? Well, perfect. What if I told you that this red disc in my hand can prevent furniture waste, teach you a repair skill, and bring dignity to people in need? It can also make you and your community a little more resilient. In my world, this red disc, like the iconic red dot I'm standing on, represents small actions you can take right now to make a big difference. So growing up, things around the house were always tight. My grandparents used the skills they had and available resources to take care of us. When I wanted a new pair of skates, like neighborhood kids had, my grandpa welded me a set. To cover our clothing needs, my babushka used the clothing. She used fabric that she had and sewing machines she brought from work. So naturally, when a 12-year-old me wanted new, fashionable clothes, but there wasn't any money to buy them, I was inspired by my grandparents' resilience and decided to make some myself. So I had the tools, I had the materials, I had the time. How hard could it be? I love the first pair of pants I made for myself from some leftover pink cotton. I thought they looked great, at least until I realized I couldn't really sit in them. I learned from my lessons, and the second pair of pants I made with the animal print was impeccable. These pants, they were more than just something new to wear. They were a creative solution to a problem. They were a development of a new skill and a confidence boost. That boy I liked finally noticed that I'm kind of cute. So these pants also represented my newfound resilience. Fast forward a couple of decades, and here I am in Seattle leading community-centered programs and research in the field of zero waste, trying to solve the intractable problem of solid waste. Old exiled furniture is a sore in my eye. How many of you have seen a piece of furniture on the curbside in the past week? Yes, I see some nods. So I started looking into it. First, I wanted to understand how much furniture waste do we generate? It's an awful lot. The Environmental Protection Agency estimates that Americans discard 12 million tons of furniture a year. It's 450% increase since 1960s, and even accounting for population growth, these numbers have more than doubled per person. Our own research in the past year showed that items that are over 40 years old are often made with high-quality materials with decades of life left in them. These items can be repaired, redesigned, and refurbished. While global modern supply chains, they encourage cheap, flat-pack, particle board items, and unlike older furniture, these items are hard to repair, they contribute to deforestation, and increase more furniture on the landfill. So I started thinking, don't we have people who need furniture but cannot afford it? Couldn't they use some of those items? Big yes. 38 million Americans live below the poverty line. If you need this piece of information, it's $31,200 for a family of 4. Millions of those people, for multiple reasons, start their lives over in new, empty housing. Food and rent doesn't leave much for furnishings, and out of these people, 23,000 children age out of foster care every year. Only 1 out of 2 of these kids will have some form of gainful employment by the age of 24. Also, 60,000 refugees fleeing war zones and finding their new home in the US. And staggering 1 million Americans abandon their homes due to domestic violence each year. 40% of who are children, and 90% of the adults are women. There are also many other reasons why people find themselves in a situation where in a new housing and really don't have finances. So we have a lot of furniture that can be restored. We have people who need this furniture. Instinctively, I started thinking, what can we do to bring this furniture back in circulation? What is our capacity for TLC as a society? And this is when I found the third problem. We are losing furniture restoration skills as a society. Every next generation is way more likely to be tech-savvy and way less likely to have craft skills comparing to their parents and grandparents. Since the 80s, US public schools have been cutting shop and home ec classes, replacing self-sufficient home repair with cardboard boxes, cryptic assembly diagrams, and Allen wrenches. Yeah, and furniture manufacturing college programs have also closed the doors, leaving Washington Clover Park Technical College one of 2 colleges in the US that have upholstery training. And their graduates are hired for relocation even before the end of the class. And these slides represent another sad story. Repair shops are closing because there is no one to take over. Out of 85 stores that we interviewed in 2020, 12 have closed the doors because the owners retired. So that reminded me of my childhood, when the resilience of my grandparents inspired me to make a new pair of pants. Same situation, but different. We have a lot of furniture that can be restored. We have people who really need it. We have the tools, but we don't have skills left. What can be the solution? Can you be the one? How hard can it be? Ironically, the global pandemic demonstrated that we can adapt. Who of you picked up a new hobby during the lockdown? Yes, I see the hands. Me too. So the global pandemic disrupted supply chains of fast furniture. I want you to remember this term. But some people did use YouTube and learn how to bring old furniture a new look. So all of that made us believe that furniture restoration can be done without prior experience if you have some proper guidance. And out of this idea, Furniture Repair Bank was born. Today, we are a proven concept, a volunteer-powered workshop that operates on the intersection of sustainability, community, and equity. The first of its kind entity that collects unwanted furniture, trains volunteers to restore items, and provide those items to people in need for free. And this is how we do it in 3 steps. First, we collect items in 2 ways. Individuals who are trying to do something better with their items that they don't need anymore, they deliver them to our workshop. Like Julie, she's an HR professional by day and environmentally conscious mother by night. She was so happy when she found us, as she was trying to get rid of this baby crib and a few broken chairs and buy nothing for weeks. We were her last resort before heading to the landfill, to the dump. But we also do collect items that do head to the dump. We collect them at transfer stations. Those are the sites within city limits where people bring their junk. We signed a contract with the city of Seattle and intercept those items and bring them to our workshop instead of the landfill. Next, we repair and redesign those items with help of volunteers, teaching them each step in furniture restoration process. We engage volunteers for 3-hour shifts and teach them sanding, painting, staining, upholstery, and even machine sewing. So we are, in fact, a growing training center. Over the past year, we've trained over 2,000 volunteers, and 90% of them had 0 furniture restoration experience. To enable that, we host regular volunteer days for our individual volunteers, and we host special team-building activities. Like Rob, he brought his team from Microsoft for a team morale event, and later on he shared that they've had quite a few pretty expensive outings with their team, but their experience with us was the most engaging, rewarding, and bonding of all. So, I guarantee that at the Furniture Repair Bank, each one of you can learn furniture restoration skills in 3 days. By the way, in case you didn't know what this is a sanding disc that we will give you at our workshop. It's a crucial tool to give furniture a new look, but also to create a small action to make a big difference. So, to close the cycle of our operations at the Furniture Repair Bank, we then deliver those items to people in need. We work with resettlement agencies, shelters, and other service organizations and cater to their clients. To make our work even more meaningful, our fulfillment and design lead, Lucy, coordinates each individual piece, so she selects paint and upholstery fabric to create cohesive and thoughtfully designed sets for each individual request. So together with furniture, we deliver an implicit message that these people are cared for. Washington State University's research says that contributions like that create positive impact in the duration of homelessness and quality of life of these people. Now, you know our secret. In 3 hours, you can reduce furniture waste, you can learn a new skill, and you can bring dignity to people in need. So, what can you do right now to make a difference? First, don't throw away a piece of furniture if it still has some solid bones. Then, try to refurbish it yourself and engage your kids. Not only they will learn a useful skill, but they will also learn to rely on themselves to solve a problem. Harvard's second-generation study showed that kids who are engaged in hands-on chores are more likely to be successful in their careers, happy as adults, and become a part of something bigger than themselves. Finally, if you are in our area, consider volunteering at the Furniture Repair Bank. Not only you will look cute in our t-shirt, but you will also create meaningful connections with amazing people and create a big difference in a small way. Finally, if at some point you will come across a coffee table that is scratched, rescue it, give it a scent with one of these discs, and make a small difference for a big change. Thank you.